So this is my shop. I'm Brian Riktarsik, and I am the owner and sole employee of Windrift Woodworks. This is really a micro shop. It's just me. I've got a ceiling that's about 6 feet, maybe 6 feet 1 inch. It depends on where you stand because the floor is not level. But I'm based in Seattle, Washington. I actually didn't grow up being exposed to any sort of woodworking, but I picked up this hobby that I've now turned into a small business. And it's all because my parents actually got me a charcuterie board for my birthday back in 2022. And I was like, how much did this even cost? Like, this looks pretty cool. And they told me something like $150. And at that point I was like, no, okay, that's actually way too much. Like, I could make that for a quarter of the price. And then before you know it, I filled up the basement of my house with more tools than could fit in the 250 square foot shop that I currently operate in. Gotta pop this jig loose just so I can get the planter out of this room. Every inch matters here. Okay. Oh. And I just wanted to make a couple of boards at first, just kind of for fun. It looked kind of cool, but then I thought maybe I could actually make a business out of this. As soon as I had all these tools, as soon as I started actually making some charcuterie boards and some cutting boards, I was like, wow, okay. First of all, wood is very expensive. I had no idea. I was used to just looking at 2x4s at Home Depot. But no, the wood you need for cutting boards, charcuterie boards is a whole different species and they cost way more. And wouldn't you know it, epoxy costs anywhere from about 70 bucks to 100 bucks a gallon. So really, that first charcuterie board that would cost 150 bucks for my parents, that was maybe even a good deal. So thanks Mom and Dad for that gift. For better or worse, here I am. So when I first got started making these boards, I honestly had no idea all the steps that were required to actually build these things. Like, you know, you look at a cutting board, you look at a charcuterie board, and if you've never done any sort of woodworking before, you're like, yeah, it looks pretty nice. You have no idea how many steps it actually takes to build that. And I have learned that over the last couple of years of just how much detail is required to make a really quality board. It takes a lot of time in a shop like this, and you know that I have looked at every detail of this board before I put it out in front of you. And I just love looking at that finished board and then looking at all of the raw wood that I bring into the shop and just seeing that transformation. That's actually just a really satisfying part of this for me. But really, the nice thing about wood is it's this living thing, and I really like that each piece is so unique, and I can create something that ultimately turns this raw piece of wood into what I think is a work of art. I'd love someday to make Windrift my full-time job. I love to bring functional art in people's homes. And that doesn't just mean cutting boards and charcuterie boards. I'd love to grow this and make this bigger. I'd love to make furniture. I'd love to have the ability to have that sort of a conversation with a customer to build their dream table and deliver it to them at their home and just have it be the centerpiece of their home. But I am lucky because honestly, I'm actually having a really good time right now. I love going down to my little micro shop that I've got in the basement of my house, making cutting boards and charcuterie boards and learning as I go. And I really just cannot wait for the next big thing that I get to create.